and headed down the stone steps to the front door of her garden-level apartment, already imagining what she'd wear tonight. The black dress he liked, with the big gold buckle, and some high heels. Her lover brought out the girl in her, and the criminal, evidently, she thought as she turned the key and pushed. "Did you get it?" She gasped at the voice, squinting into the living room to see Finn, a drink in one hand and his $300 loafers propped on her coffee table, jacket open, tie loose, hair tousled like he'd been running his hands through it while waiting for her. All the ice inside her just melted. "I got it," she said, easing the bag down to her elbow and holding it out to him. With the other hand, she yanked off the knit cap, fluffing hair that was probably a flat flyaway mess, not to mention that the down jacket made her look like the Michelin Man, and she didn't have a speck of makeup on. He didn't move to take the bag, or, as she foolishly fantasized, rise to give her a kiss. Instead, he sat stone still, exuding power, control, authority, maturity, and knee-weakening sex appeal. How a 53-year-old man with tiny creases at the corners of his eyes and a few threads of silver glinting in golden hair could make a 25-year-old microbiologist go so damn rubbery was a mystery. One she had no desire to solve. "And no one saw you." It wasn't a question. With Finn, everything was an order. She shook her head. He raised the amber liquid of Jameson she'd splurged on just so she'd have it in the apartment for him, cocking his head as eyes the color of summer skies raked over her appreciatively. "We should celebrate." Despite the automatic response of her body, her brain screamed out a protest. Should they celebrate a crime? "Darling girl, you aren't having second thoughts, are you?" Naturally, he could read whatever subtle cues her nonverbals were shouting. "It's a little late," she said with a soft laugh. "The deed, as they say, is done." "I told you, no one's going to use that stuff." He jutted his chin toward the bag as if its contents were harmless, meaningless. "It's a bargaining chip, and in Belfast these days, you just can't get enough of those. I'm only sending that stuff over there to give them some power." Power? She suspected there was more CASH than CACHE involved. "That's the name of the game these days," he continued. "And they are, after all, family, however distant." Very distant. She'd done a little digging through a friend who studied the various clans of Ireland, and couldn't really find a connection between the names Finn had mentioned and the Macaulay clan. In fact, that spelling of his last name didn't even show up. But she knew better than to question this man. He hated to be questioned. When she did, he punished her by disappearing for a few days, sometimes more. "I realize that," she said, feeling as weak and ineffective as she sounded. "I thought we'd celebrate over dinner." Then he stood, his gaze locked on her as he clunked the drink on the table. "That's not what I had in mind. I don't have time for dinner tonight." Plans with Anne. The question was too sharp. She knew it instantly. Instead of facing his fierce look, she turned to take off her coat. "I have business tonight," he replied, "so no dinner." She tossed the coat over a chair, her back still to him. Business. That she wasn't stupid enough to question. They pretended she didn't know exactly what his business was, and in return, she got... His hands slid around her waist, possessive and strong. She got this. "You're one of us now, sweet girl of mine." One of whom? A bunch of criminals?